This is the next video in the series, I guess. I've sanded all the tops inside and out, all the bottoms inside and out that needs to be painted, and I've masked off all around all the areas. Even though the walls are going to be painted, I just want to limit the overspray for runs and everything. And I've got the island done. I still need to remove a receptacle. I'm also going to do beadboard panels on the sides, and also the sides up here, both sides. I'm using a oak beadboard paneling because it's rigid and it's not going to be as susceptible to swelling as the masonite beadboard. This is something I'm doing at request of the owner. He seen it done somewhere and wanted to give it a shot. I said I have no experience with it, but I'll do my best. I'm cutting a beadboard inset to go in on the flat panel oak door. I'll glue it and clamp it with polyurethane construction adhesive to hold it in place. And I've cut a panel for each cabinet door. And then I've allowed room for swelling around the edges of approximately a 1/16 of an inch. And I'll caulk that prior to painting. And I had a dilemma with so many different widths of cabinet doors of what I was going to do for keeping my spacing as even as possible on the bead. And I took and made a story pole with a scrap piece. I first cut all my heights onto 4-foot pieces of the paneling, and then took a scrap piece left over, brought it in to my cabinet doors, and for each cabinet door I used a different color Sharpie to get the limitations of my marks to center the door up: reds, yellow, and so on and so forth. And then I made a color coordinated width chart, my number of doors I needed at what widths. And that was just to try and keep my head straight, because where I'm cutting and where I've got the doors is two different places. And I just didn't want to keep walking back and forth, making sure that I got it right. So at this stage of the game, I'm now getting ready to glue the panels into the door frames, and then I'll be waiting for them to dry for a little bit, because once I hook the sprayer up to paint, I want to paint everything at once. All right, that's all for this section.